Director. We're going off by director now. Actually, that's not quite right. I'm starting off with my towers of Blu-rays and DVDs. So these are basic. These are directors, and then we'll go into Japanese films. So, anyways, okay. So let's go. Let's see. I got I got these in boxes. I put these all in boxes so I could be ready for this. Okay. Okay. So first off, we're starting with Terrence Malick. Oh no, not Terrence Malick. I'm sorry, David Fincher. I think there's only 2 David Fincher on Criterion. Let me also, this video is going to go on forever, but let me just say, I want to also recommend a few other people here. I'm going to put their names up. I try to give 30 seconds time to each person. The Daisuke Beppu. I'll put his name at the start when I started off right now. So that was like a minute ago. Logan Toxic and Aaron Pin. So I got all those names in there. I think it's in a minute, 30 seconds. Yeah, okay. So I put 30 seconds worth of their names. So check out their channels because they're Criterion people too. Oh, and since I'm going to the 2-minute mark, Cinema Dave Media. He's another YouTuber. You can check on his channel for Criterion suggestions and recommendations and talks about what to buy. Okay, so I got them out of the way. Okay, so let's get to the movies. So David Fincher, I think, is only 2 Criterion titles. Do not get The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It's Fincher at his weakest because he's making a film where he's trying to make a Forrest Gump happy kind of movie, and that's not really his strength. His strength is dark movies. So anyways, but this is a really good edition. This is The Game. Stars Michael Douglas and Sean Penn, and I don't know if I should get into too much detail of all these things, but basically he gets a birthday present, a very intricate birthday present. It comes with special features, a lot of fun to watch, and if you want a David Fincher film and you want a Criterion, this is the one to get. It has behind-the-scenes stuff. It has audio commentary by Fincher. Let's see, who's Savides? I think Savides is a cinematographer. Michael Douglas, screenwriters, John Brancato and Michael Ferris. Digital animation supervisor, Richard D. Dr. Bailey. Production designer, Jeffrey Beercroft. Visual effects supervisor, Kevin Hogg. And visual effects producer, Robin Darcy. And has an hour's worth of exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and filmed the storyboard comparisons for 4 of the film's major set pieces with commentary, alternate ending, teasers, trailer, whatever. Okay, so that's that. Now we get to Terrence Malick. This was the first Criterion I bought of his, Days of Heaven. Days of Heaven has it's a commentary by the art director Jack Fisk, who's worked, I think he's worked with David Lynch, and he's worked with Malick on New World as well. I think he did Thin Red Line with him too. Housing designer Patricia Norris, casting director Diane Crittenden, audio interview with Richard Gere, interviews with Haskell Wexler and Bailey, who are cinematographers on the film. Beautifully photographed film. That's the thing about this movie. They usually shot at magic hour, which is like dusk or dawn, to get that special kind of lighting for the film. They didn't use any artificial lights. That's something I'll come back harp on to with another director, which is Kubrick, with his film Barry Lyndon, which I highly recommend. So, but I'll show the Malick one that I recommend the most in a second here. Here's another Malick. This is the Thin Red Line. He has audio commentary by John Tull, who's a cinematographer. Jack Fisk, again, production designer and producer Grant Hill. The trailer, interview with lots of the actors, the composer Hans Zimmer. I'm sort of skimming over some of this because it's going to be a long video, some 14 minutes of outtakes, World War II newsreels from Guadalcanal and Solomon Islands. So that's in Red Line. But I think the one to go for is this one, The New World. Beautifully made, beautifully designed Criterion. And it looks like it was maybe drawn with pastels or something. That's Coriana Kilcher. I don't know how to say her name. She plays Pocahontas in this. And you get 3 discs. This is the Blu-ray. Get this nice booklet. I don't know if there's any pictures in here. Oh yes, there are. There is rather some pictures here. Some nice pictures. Oh, they look like Gauguin. I think they are Gauguin. Well, some of it's photos here, the movie. That's a beautiful movie. Nice use of Wagner, and Wagner's a German opera composer. And it's about John Smith and Pocahontas and Jamestown. There's some nice special features from the previous edition that came out before this, which are great, behind-the-scenes stuff. Emmanuel Lubezki is the cinematographer on this. And there's 3 different versions of this. There's a 172-minute cut, 150-minute cut, and a 135-minute cut. A theatrical cut, first cut is a 150, and the 172 is the extended cut. You've got the making of the movie, production designer Jack Fisk. You got costume designer Jacqueline West. Making the New World, new programs about the process of cutting the New World in its various versions, featuring interviews with editors Hank Corwin, Star Klein, and Mark Yoshikawa. Okay, so yeah, and it's got an essay and really good. This is worth buying if you want to buy a Terrence Malick, and yeah, this is just. But I want to say that I haven't watched this particular Criterion. But I have seen some of the special features in the previous edition of this movie, and they were unbelievable. And the film was fantastic. In a longer version or a shorter version, it's worth. I think that's the one to buy if you want a Terrence Malick. I guess I only have one Coen Brothers to recommend. The first feature, Blood Simple. Very good film, one of their best. Barry Sonnenfeld is the cinematographer who later go on to direct Men in Black. There's a conversation between Sonnenfeld and the Coens on the film's look. Conversation between author Dave Eggers and the Coens about the film's production. An interview with the composer Carter Burwell, sound designer Skip Livesey, and actors Frances McDormand and Emmett Walsh. So, yeah. Blood Simple. Next we got this film. Well, yeah, this film is my second most recommended. David Cronenberg, Scanners. Earlier today, being Wednesday, now it's early Thursday, but early Wednesday evening on Aaron Pinn's stream, he showed this. This is pretty fantastic to own. It's got a documentary about the film's special effects. He mentioned this in an interview with Michael Ironside, interviews with the actor Stephen Lack, who's the protagonist in the movie. An 81 interview with Cronenberg on the Canadian CBC show, the Bob McLean show, and a restored digital transfer of Stereo, which was Cronenberg's first feature. Which is nice about these Criterions. They give you extra stuff. Like with Kubrick, they give you with the killer's with the killing, you get his first feature, technically his first feature, Killer's Kiss, even though he made Fear and Desire before that. But if you want the ultimate Cronenberg, then this is it, Videodrome. This is really good too. I really like this a lot. This was really fun. But this is nice too. They make a good couple of movies, good double feature. You know, that's a good way to put it. This has got 2 discs, and some of them have really nice design. Well, a lot of them had really nice design. Criterions. You know, you got again, Aaron Pinn showed this. Probably other YouTubers have shown this. Long live the New Flesh. Shows done like a beta tape. So when you buy Criterions, you're buying more than just a Criterion. You're buying a packaging, a philosophy. You're buying you're learning as to why these films are important and how they contribute to the literacy of the cinematic education, if that's the way to put it. But anyways, there's 2 commentaries, one by Cronenberg and director of photography Mark Irwin, and another one by actors James Woods and Deborah Harry. There's a short film called Camera. And there's a disc too. It's got Forging the New Flesh, half-hour documentary feature by Michael Lennick about the creation of Videodrome video and prosthetic makeup effects. Effects men. Making of stuff that was inserted into the movie, like Samurai Dreams and the Videodrome show, and an interview with Cronenberg at the time of this film, 82, with him and John Carpenter and John Landis, facilitated by Mike Garris. Stills, trailers, promotional featurette. So that's Videodrome. So, but yeah, these 2 films would make good double feature. So. Okay, so next up, David Lynch. I'd say if you're going to only buy one David Lynch, buy this one, Eraserhead. It's his best. It's his first. Some directors, I think they'll never top a certain film they make. This is one of those films with David Fincher that he Fight Club to me, or with maybe Roman Polanski with Knife in the Water, but I like Repulsion as well, so I don't know. But this definitely is David Lynch's best movie, because I'm sort of I either hate his films or love his films. Blue Velvet, I'm sort of on the fence on. I like parts of it, but this is like a nightmare. Watching an actual nightmare. Um, this film may not make any sense, and that's particularly fine because it's not. I don't know if it's totally supposed to. It was made on a very low budget. It came out in 1977. It was shot over a few years. I think David Lynch became a father around the time period this came out, so that might be partially what the film is about. It has very surreal images, and with this you get this nice booklet. I have not read this booklet, but really nice. And just to give you a heads up, later in the fall, I don't know if it's September, October, they're releasing Elephant Man. So just to let you know that. And yeah, so Eraserheads. There's a documentary about it. There's restorations of some of his 6 short movies. I guess he made them in college. I think that's where he made them. With video introductions by David Lynch. Interviews with actors Charlotte Stewart and Judith Roberts, assistants of the director Catherine Coulson, cinematographer Frederick Elms, archival interviews with Lynch and members of the cast and crew, a trailer of a booklet. And I've watched this quite a considerable amount of times, and it's weird. I guess maybe some people would be blown by it. They couldn't quite get it. They want some kind of logic in it. Some people, want their logic. They want, they want a film to make sense. You're one of those people that wants a movie that makes sense, and you want everything wrapped up in a nice bow at the end of the film, and you don't want to think about the aesthetics of it. I don't know. It's an art film. So if you like art films, if you like thinking people's films, if you like, technically, I don't even know if it's a thinking people's film. It's more of an experience, more. David Lynch is an interpretation of this movie, but he won't tell anybody what it is. It's, I think, related to a Bible verse. Like 2001 by Kubrick. 2001's not in the Criterion collection, not at the present moment, but the ending of 2001, people would ask him, what does the ending of this movie mean? And he would say, it means whatever you want it to mean. I think that's what he said. He didn't want to force an interpretation. So David Lynch is sort of leaving it up to you, I guess. Or maybe he's just not telling you what it's about. So it's a weird movie, surrealistic. This is a good film by David Lynch. It is also weird, but it's David Lynch, so what do you expect? It's Mulholland Drive. I don't know if I should say too much about this film. I haven't watched my actual Criterion of Mulholland Drive. I haven't watched my Eraserhead Drive Criterion, but I have seen both films. There's some nice packaging there. I think what you got to be aware of with David Lynch is he's a very dreamlike, surrealist kind of filmmaker. If you can follow on that logic, I think you can perhaps appreciate would be the word. Appreciate his films better. So I think at a later point in this video, I will be showing one of his other movies. Maybe the 5th and 6th part of the video, I'll show Blue Velvet. I have Blue Velvet as well. I'll show that. Blue Velvet has has all the features from the MGM UA edition, I think, that came out in the early 2000s. and maybe some more, but I'll get to that when that part comes up. It won't be in this first part here, but it will be in the fifth or sixth part. Um, but interview with Lynch and director of photography Peter Deming and actor Naomi Watts, Justin Theroux, and Laura Haring, composer Angelo Badalamenti, production designer Jack Fisk. Again, there's Jack Fisk. Casting director Johanna Ray. On-set footage, deleted scene trailer. You have to watch this film more than once. It's one of those movies, you're not going to get it the first time you see it. So, in order to I don't know if you understand it on the fifth viewing. I think you understand it more on the fifth viewing than you do on the first. So, it's Mulholland Drive. Next up, we've got Brian De Palma. I think there's only, there's at least 3 De Palma films in the collection. This is one of them. This is a very good movie. Sisters is one of his early films with Margot Kidder. His interview with actor Jennifer Salt. Interviews in 2004 with De Palma. Actors Bill Finley, Charles Durning, editor Paul Hirsch, producer Edward R. Pressman. Audio from a 1973 discussion with De Palma at the American Film Institute. Margot Kidder on the Dick Cavett Show. So, this is nice. It's kind of a suspense horror movie. So, really fantastic film. Now, here's a movie I would suggest. I didn't have this when I did that lesser-known Criterion video lesser-known Criterion titles video. But if you want to look at a movie that's a lesser-known one and a good one, Sisters might be a film you want to buy. Maybe I think I like this film a little bit better. De Palma's License, Dressed to Kill. It has Michael Caine and doesn't have a booklet. Just has the pamphlet. Some of the newer Criterions these days, they don't have pamphlets. They have let's see. They don't have pamphlets. They have they don't have booklets. They don't have booklets. So, yeah. I guess Dressed to Kill over Sisters. If you want to just choose between one of them, there's a interview between Noah Baumbach and De Palma. New interviews with Nancy Allen, producer George Leto, composer Pino Donaggio. Shower scene, body double Victoria Lynn Johnson. Poster, photographic art director Steven Saiden. Making of Dressed to Kill. New profile cinematographer Ralph Bode. Featuring filmmaker Michael Apted. Interview with actor director Keith Gordon. About different cuts of the version of the film. So, excellent film to watch. Okay. So, now, I think this is from Mexico, from Alfonso Cuarón, Y tu mama también. I don't know what that means in Spanish, but I think it means something like "and your mother too." There's a nice little feature with Slava Zizek, I think on here. Yes. Interview with him about the film's social and political aspects. It's about 2 young boys who go on a vacation in Mexico. I think it's all in Mexico, with an older woman, and sort of like awakening, like a coming of age. Cinematographer is Emmanuel Lubezki. He did The Revenant. Um, Went on the making of the movie, interviews at the time of production in 2014 with actors Gael Garcia Bernal, Diego Luna, and Maribel Verdú, Coran, co-writer Carlos Coran and Lubezki. On-set documentary from 2001. So, and I think there's a, yeah, look at this. It's got a nice booklet. So if you want to see a film about traveling, about coming of age films, you might want to pick this up. If that's your bag, if that's the kind of thing you like watching, like films about people coming of age, and there's things that are happening around them, some pretty significant things, and they're basically just driving right by it. But the film, the audience notices it, So, but yeah, I'm trying not to make these. I'm trying not to go on forever here, and I probably will go on for quite some time, but I'm trying to trim it up. Okay. Next, this is a Polish director. Wait a minute, I screwed up. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. So this is Blind Chance by Krzysztof Kieslowski. It's basically the story of a guy in communist Poland, and he goes down 3 different paths. He's a doctor, a medical doctor, I believe. This was censored. Parts of the film were taken out and I think destroyed. But anyways, like, he joins the Communist Party in one scenario. Another scenario, he joins a group against the Communist Party. In another scenario, he becomes a doctor, I believe, and he's trying to each particular story he tries to get on this train that could change his life. I don't think it's Kieslowski's best film, though. Here's another one he did. This is a mini-series for Polish television. This is the Decalogue. It's based on the 10 Commandments. I did a review of this. Take a look at my review on my channel. I think it's my most watched. It's got over 1,000 views. I could talk and extend about this. This is a good one to get, but my recommendation, and I'll do a review of it at some point on my channel. This is the one to get. 3 colors trilogy. White is my favorite. Blue is my second favorite. Loaded with special features. This is worth getting. Cinema lessons from Kieslowski. Interviews with the co-writer, composer, actors Judith Delpy, Irene Jacob, another actor, I can't pronounce his name, selected scene commentary by Julie Binoche, video essays on the films by Annette Insdorf, Tony Raines, Dennis Lim, documentary, full-length documentary, short films by Kieslowski, interview programs, behind the scenes. It's got a great booklet. This is the way to go. I mean, if you want to buy a box set for the sale, and box sets are a really good thing to buy during a Criterion sale because they're half the price. So they're still expensive. They're probably as expensive maybe as a regular single movie Blu-ray would be, but you're at an advantage in that sense. So when Aaron Penn talked about buying the Bergman box set, in a way you could say that now is the time to buy it at the sale. I own a lot of Bergman. I don't feel the need to have it. And maybe if you just want 1 or 2 Bergman, you shouldn't get it. But if you want to have all the Bergmans or most of the Bergman, and you wonder what time is the best to buy it, probably now would be that time. And if you don't have enough money, wait until November. Oh, and by the way, don't feel obligated at all to buy any of these if you have no money, if you have hardly any money, if you're pressed for money. Borrow it from the library, watch online. There's a Criterion channel, it's $100 a year, $10 a month, or $11 a month, I think. That's another way to go. But these are just recommendations, and that's all they are. I'm not going to get into detail about this. I saw this film with the Burns. I saw it before Jacob Burns Film Center, before I saw it there. I met Paul Schrader there. This is not my favorite Paul Schrader film, but it's Mishima, and Mishima's kind of interesting. The special features kind of make it interesting. There's commentary by Schrader, Paul Schrader, the director. There's interviews. I'm not going to go into too much. There's just a 55-minute documentary about Yukio Mishima that makes it kind of interesting, I think. Okay. Now we got Lars von Trier here. I don't know where the other Lars von Trier went, but I have to go with this. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. So, Breaking the Waves. If you like tragic movies, unhappy movies, this is your bag. It's got a selected scene, audio commentary, very depressing movie. I think he likes to make depressing movies, though. Interviews with actors Emily Watson, Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah, so it's about a young woman, and she basically does anything for her husband who's become paralyzed, including disgracing herself. But that's typical of Lars von Trier movies. And about the Antichrist, about a married couple whose toddler son dies. I did watch this, but I fell asleep during it. Visually, it's kind of interesting to watch. Okay. So now we get to the Japanese movies. And I'll put a notation that at the start of this video when it is, which is, well, actually it'll be a little later than 31 minutes. It'll be further down the line. Okay, so anyways, this is Rashomon. This is what the film that made Akira Kurosawa come to international prominence. It's about the same story told four different ways, and what it's asking the question, what is truth? So if you want one of the great films. It's got a commentary by Donald Ritchie, documentary on the cinematographer, 68 documentary about the film. I haven't actually watched this one, I don't think. I had this on DVD. I decided to buy the Blu-ray a while back. Yeah. And then here's the gateway Japanese movie. One of the most well-known, Seven Samurai. I don't think I have too much to say about this. It's a long movie, about 3.5 hours. Again, if you want to buy it, if you're thinking when's the best time to buy this, this is the time. This is a little less expensive than, say, the Colors trilogy. This will cost maybe $60, $50 full price, maybe $70. Maybe more like $60, maybe. So maybe you're paying $30. I don't know, something like that. Look online and you'll know when the sale happens. And it's got 2 audio commentaries. It's got a 50-minute documentary on the making of the Seven Samurai. And it's got a 2-hour conversation between Kurosawa and director Nagisa Oshima, produced by the Directors Guild of Japan. A documentary about samurai traditions and films that influenced Kurosawa's film. And the booklet has Kevin Turan, Peter Cowie, Philip Kemp, Peggy Chow, Alan Silver, Stuart Galbraith, tributes from Arthur Penn and Sidney Lumet and a reminiscence by Shir Mifune. So I don't really want to show. I'm trying to hustle it up, but this is one of the gateway foreign films, not just Japanese, but in general. This influenced Magnificent Seven. I don't like the Magnificent Seven. This is the film. Kurosawa influenced that and a few other movies. So Kurosawa is a good director to start with if you want to start your foreign film collection and or Criterion collection. This is my personal favorite Kurosawa. Throne of Blood is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's based on Macbeth. I think it's got a documentary about it. It's commentary. I think I've watched all this stuff. It's got a booklet. Great movie about the thirst for power and what it does to you. So, next up, Kiru means to live. Japanese film. Oh, I said, of course, I'm doing Japanese. This stars Takashi Shimura. He's got stomach cancer. He's got like 6 months to live, so he has to do something meaningful with his life, or his life will be. He believes his life will have been in vain because he's just a file clerk at an office. So these mothers want to build a playground for their children. Most of the film is told in flashback and so is told from the time of his memorial or funeral or whatever. Really good movie. It's regarded as one of the great films of all time, Kikiru. If you want to have some fun with a more fun movie of Kurosawa's, this is Yojimbo. This influenced a film called A Fistful of Dollars in the Dollars trilogy. I don't like The Fistful of Dollars. I like the sequel, For a Few Dollars More, and the third in the trilogy, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Of course, that's a of course, Ennio Morricone died recently, so he did those films, the music. Hey, but going back to this is Yojimbo. This is about a samurai who comes to this town where a lot of trouble's going on between these two gangs of samurai, and he's going to try and clean it up. So, and it's got documentary about the making of it and a commentary, along with its sequel, which I haven't seen in a while, but it's a lot of fun. Sanjuro. Yojimbo means bodyguard. Sanjuro is the name of the character. And it's got the same kind of deal going with it. So, commentary, making a movie. Hidden Fortress, making of Star Wars. I mean, the plot for Star Wars came from this film. The two bandits are R2-D2 and C-3PO. The princess is Princess Leia, and the bandit is, the two guys, maybe they're thieves? They're the R2-D2, C-3PO. The bandit is the Shir Mifune character is the Han Solo character. So this is where it came from, Hidden Fortress. And I haven't watched my actual copy of this one, but it's got the commentary and the making and a lot of fun, entertaining. Another entertaining Kurosawa. And here's a few that are modern day. Bad Sleep Well, about a plot in this company. It's loosely based on Hamlet and film noir. It's got making of, not too much in just a making of as far as in a trailer, as far as behind the scenes, special features, but very good movie about greed. I think it's about greed and how people will do evil things. Fun movie. Well, provoking movie. High and Low, based on an Ed McBain novel. A shoe executive gets his son kidnapped, but there's a boomerang. There's something's thrown out, or a monkey wrench is thrown in the way, and it's not quite what you think it is. And his boy is being held for ransom, but I won't say what exactly happens after that. about her commentary, making entertaining, good detective film noir. Kagemusha. This is the film Kurosawa made after. It's called Shadow Warrior in Japanese. It's got some behind-the-scenes stuff, paintings that he did for the film. Documentary about Lucas and Coppola. They're executive producers in the movie. 41 minute about the making. 43 video piece about reconstructing Kagemusha through his paintings. Suntory whiskey commercials made on the set of Kagemusha. Gallery storyboards, commentary. But I think a better movie. And Kagemusha was a film that was made because Kagemusha was made because Kurosawa made a film called Dodetsuka Den. I might show that later. It's in a different. I know it's not together with this one, but it's in another one. But it failed miserably at the box office. So he went to Russia and made a film called Dursa Uzula, which I have, but I haven't watched. And he needed funding for his next film, so Lucas and Coppola funded Kagemusha. This was funded by Serge Silverman. This is out of print. This is Ran, which means chaos in Japanese, based on King Lear. I got to hustle. I got tons of movies to go through. And to end it with Kurosawa, you got Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. Nice special feature here, which is a 150-minute documentary about on the set with director Nobuhiko Obayashi, who directed House. And it's longer than the actual movie itself. Audio commentary by Stephen Prince, interviewed with production designer, a manager, Teruyu Nagami, interview with assistant director Takashi Koizumi, a 50-minute documentary about Kurosawa with just interviews with people, Bertolucci, Alejandro Inarritu, Scorsese, Miyazaki, and others. So this is worth buying. This is another Kurosawa that's worth buying. Very beautiful film. Then we get to Ozu here. I have 3 Ozu. This is a classic. This is regarded as one of the great Japanese films of all time, one of the greatest films of all time, Tokyo Story, about elderly parents and how their adult children basically don't want to get involved or with them or have anything to do with them. And they have the elderly father is played by Chishu Ryu, and they have a daughter-in-law rather, whose husband, their son, has died in, I think, World War II, but she still honors her in-law parents, even though she probably should move on. She's played by Setsuko Hara. Those 2 actors are powerhouse Japanese actors. Sad movie, but very beautiful. Worth watching, but you probably got to have a lot of patience for this kind of a movie. And it's got a Talking with Ozu, a tribute to Ozu, with reflections from directors like Stanley Kwan, Aki Karamatsuki, Claire Denise, Lindsay Anderson, Paul Schrader, Vin Vendors, and Hua Shrin. I guess I'm saying that right. I'm just guessing on that. So, and then you got Late Spring with Setsuko Hara, and I think Chishu Ryu was in this as well. Yes, about a older father and an adult daughter, and he wants her to move on with her life and stop taking care of him. They're bittersweet, these movies of Ozu's. And then this is a newer one that was released. Well, not a new one, but I mean, new released as far as the Criterion collection goes. It's Good Morning, otherwise known as Ohio Gozaimasu, or Ohio. About these 2 kids who want a television set. Ozu liked to make films in the present day. He didn't make period films, like samurai movies. Just every day. He didn't make film noir. He did make. There's a silent Ozu set, has gangster films, but back in the 20s or 30s, but he didn't really make them. And after that, late 40s all through the 50s, very early 60s, all he made was modern day slice of life movies, and he died in the early 60s. Oshima, I have some other Oshima, but this film won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. It's sort of a hardcore pornography movie. It's about a married man who was having an affair with a woman during true story, made more than once as a movie in Japan. This film was sort of banned in Japan at the time because of what I guess for some reason the way it critiques Japan, I guess, or something. There's something that happens at the end of the film, like in real life. It's kind of unique in the film. I won't say what. It's probably worth. I'd say it's worth buying. So, but this is Oshima. This is probably his crowning achievement. Then we got Naruse, Mikio Naruse. I have some other Naruse, but this is the only one I've watched. When a Woman Ascends the Stairs, about a woman trying to get out of the rut of the Japanese hierarchy and become a woman of position. So that's what the stairs mean. She might run a brothel, or maybe she runs a hotel. I don't know. But she's just trying to eke out a living, and I think she's trying to move up and not be dominant. It's a system of hierarchies in Japan. So very good movie. Got this box set. A good time to get box sets is the sale. I don't know if this is out of print, but you can check. These are art films. Pitfall. You could say Things Are Not What They Seem. I guess you could say that about the movie. Woman in the Dunes. Sort of an avant-garde art film about a guy who's a bug scientist, and he misses the bus and stays overnight at this woman's house in a pit, and he can't get out. It's like a horror movie. And then you have Face of Another with Tatsuya Nakadai from Ran, who I can't remember exactly how he lost his face, but these are art films, basically. That's what you're getting. So if you like avant-garde art films, Japanese art films, these are the ones to get. And then this is Lady Snowblood. The first Lady Snowblood is worth watching, but the second one, take it or leave it. It's called Lady Snowblood, Love Song of Vengeance. This inspired Kill Bill. If you listen to the beginning song in the film, that's using Kill Bill. So, Sword of Doom. This is just a fun samurai film, kind of violent, but it's fun. You want to have some fun. Doesn't really have anything on it, just an essay. So probably fairly cheap. So I would say. And then we finish it off. I think we finish all the Japanese. Yeah, last two. There might be a few that make an appearance later on in the video, but another section. But this is to wrap up part one. Sancho the Bailiff by Mizoguchi. I think it's Mizoguchi. Right? Yes, on Kenji Mizoguchi. About, I think, a family that loses their property due to the Shogun times and how things are redistributed. It's about suffering. Good movie. And last off, Fugetsu. I mean, it's like ghost story Japanese. Yeah, so very haunting. If you like ghost kind of films, you're gonna like it. I haven't watched it quite some time, but it gets a lot of good It's regarded as one of the great Japanese films. So, all right, I'll be back with part 2. Um, Japanese part's going to extend a little further because I forgot that the second box had more Japanese, which is part of the part 1. So, Zatoichi. It's a box set of 25 films. I believe it's 25. Nice artwork. Again, this is a box set. This is going to be one of the more expensive box sets rather. At full cost, maybe it costs $200 something. Not quite sure. So at half price, it could be possibly $100, or maybe it's more like $70. So this one could be pricey. And just to let you know, it has just the films and just the trailers, I believe. There's no I don't think there's let me see. I think it's just the trailers. I'm not sure. You know what? Check on Criterion's website to see if you check CriterionCollection.com, you'll see what the special features are. But I could swear that it's just 25 films in the trailers, and that's it, and the booklet and everything. It's the artwork you're paying for. You're getting the movies, DVD, and Blu-ray, unless they went just to Blu-ray now. But you might be paying $100 half price for this. Just to let you know, this might be, because I think I bought this around $100, so I think it was expensive. These are two Kane Ichikawa films, sort of about the futility of war. Fires on the Plain. Really depressing movie. I love depressing movies. And The Burmese Harp. This is not really as depressing. It's it's about this Japanese soldier who becomes a monk. He plays a harp. That's how his fellow soldiers know it's him. Fires on the Plain is just about a soldier who's taught to fight, and he's got tuberculosis. These are excellent movies, by the way. Human Condition, about 9.5-hour movie. Masaki Kobayashi. The films I've seen is probably his masterpiece. Again, a depressing movie. First part is in, what's that place called? Nanking, I think, in China. When the Japanese are occupying China. He's a prison guard, but he has sympathy for the Chinese. Then he's fighting for the Japanese because he wouldn't help, treat the Chinese bad. And then the third party's in a POW camp, in a Siberian POW camp. So if you like depressing movies, then Interview with Masaki Kobayashi. Tatsuya Nagadai plays the main character. Appreciation of it. So, yeah. Double Suicide. Kind of a fun movie. You see these puppets, banraku, that's called in Japanese, and then all of a sudden you realize the puppets have become real people. Kind of interesting. This is a nice movie. It's a Japanese horror movie. It's called Kuroneko. Neko, or Neku means cat in Japanese. Kuro means something like, I don't think I got the exact Japanese right, but like spirit cat or ghost cat, or I think it's something like that. This Japanese woman and her daughter-in-law, they're the woman's son and the wife's husband, he leaves them to fight in the wars in Japan, they get assaulted by a samurai tribe, and they become a clan or whatever, and they get possessed by ghosts, by cats, and a lot of really cool movie. This film, the last third, is what to watch. Jugoku. It's about hell, the Japanese version of hell. This after this film was made, studio went bankrupt, but and how the first 2/3 shows people on the earth in Japan doing bad things or not being responsible and not doing the right thing, but hell is where the ticket of that's where the fireworks go off, and it's worth watching. If you don't, that's what you got to consider. So, so you got some behind the making scenes. You have to think. It's up to you. The hell part is the part I like. This is a good movie based on a true story. Vengeance is Mine by Shohei Imamura. It's about a serial killer who lived 70s, maybe 60s, 70s, I think. Yeah, good movie. And then I do have a Chinese film. I'll save it for later. Because I got another film by the same director. Two Chinese films of the same director. But anyways, this is House, directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi. That's not Chinese, that's Japanese. It's just kind of a fun, kind of thrill movie. He's the guy that did the documentary on Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. So if you want a fun movie, you might want to get House. Okay, so now that finishes the Japanese movies. So next up will be the Italian. Okay.